was raised up in a very abusive, alcoholic background growing up. I was in and out of jail for probably 10 years, went to prison, just kept doing drugs and alcohol and just destroying my life, really.
I became an animal on the streets, just staying up for days. I was shot in my leg and in my back, and just, returned right back to drug addiction after getting out of the hospital.
Sleeping in hallways, cars, sleeping with different men, and just up and down the street, prostituting myself. And I felt alone, and I felt abandoned.
I grew up in a dysfunctional family. At about 3, was molested as a child, I was about 3 years old.
I had to pick up his crack scrappings if he left them somewhere, in my mom's alcohol bottles if she decided that she couldn't get up and toss it out, just so my brother and sister couldn't see it, my younger brother and sister. So I became the parent.
When we started the ministry, all we knew is we wanted to do an inner city work, and what that looked like, we had no idea.
And we just were crazy enough to believe that God could reach this group of people with His love, with His power, with His word, and change their life.
And in the beginning, we didn't see much change. We didn't see anything going on, and I began to think, this isn't a vision from God. This is from this is from the pit of hell.
In the 90s, it was notorious for drug dealing, for gangs. It was notorious for prostitution. It was the place of places for the police, but for us, it was a pastor's paradise.
I was always in fights at the church, arguing with leaders. I've talked back to Pastor Monica a couple times.
Pastor Monica and Pastor Christian, he never gave up on me, Even when I let her down, when I started by getting high again, where she had to kick me out the men's home. And I can remember that hurt on her face when she had to do that,
Sometimes it's so easy to say, why don't they just pull themselves up by their bootstraps? But that's coming from someone who had a different shoemaker. These people don't have the same shoemaker. They're seeing life through a different lens, and until Chris and I began to see that life through that lens, we were just treading water. But today, we understand who we reach out to. We understand where they're coming from. And that only happened from surrounding myself with the people that we reach out to, feeling their pain, recognizing what is real in their life and what isn't real, the fears that they have.
I went to a outreach at PV Park. That's where Pastor Monica prayed for me, and I was touched, I was changed.
Pastor Monica was sharing her story, and they were passing out clothes and had music. But after that, that day I gave myself to the Lord over there on the sidewalk. And Pastor Monica had told me that she sends a bus over there every Sunday to bring people to church. So I got on the bus, I came to church. That was 20 years ago. I've been with the church ever since that day.
I had just finished selling all the drugs that I had, and I was making plans for the weekend, and I was sitting inside of my room, and I just started crying, and I really wasn't sure why at first, and then eventually I started to pray, which was something that I had never done seriously for myself.
So I finally broke down. I said, man, I have no clue what I'm doing out here. I don't know what to do. Would you please help me? And this was 2006, October 24th. I never forget this day because a warm feeling went through my whole body. I was at peace. That was the first time I ever felt that peace that the Bible talks about that surpasses all understanding. I felt that peace.
So God spoke to Monica and I in our heart soon after, as we were a little discouraged. We didn't know how we were going to reach this neighborhood. But he spoke to us and said that he's going to raise up people from the city to reach our city.
I am now eager to demonstrate his love, let his love be demonstrated through me to others.
I was a thief too, you know. You couldn't trust me with nothing, and Pastor Chris will tell you that today. You know, but today I got the keys to the church, you know. I open and close when I have to. Teach discipleship whenever they need me to teach discipleship.
I learned how to be a servant here, which helped me with a career. I work at Youth Gospel Mission right now with young ladies, and it's a blessing to work with them, and just as I did here at the church.
I've always said, well, he's there, no matter what. If I fall, I know God's gonna pick me up.
I was homeless and I was picked up at the shelter, but now I drive the bus and pick up the homeless. And God has just still been working in my life. I lead the men's ministry here at the church. I lead the transportation ministry. So God is an awesome God. He's used me, and now he's just using me as a vessel to help change other people's lives. And that's amazing.